Hey guys, and welcome back with me. In today's video, we're talking Google Pixel 9 Pro after around 5 to 6 months released. While there were a lot of great phones that came out in 2024 and 2025, the Google Pixel 9 Pro is one of the ones that stood out to me the most. Though my primary device is my iPhone 16 Pro, using the Google Pixel 9 Pro is still just as delightful as the first day I checked it out. I've been a fan of Google's Pixel phones for a few years now, as Google has one of the cleanest Android interfaces I've tried. For a few years, Google has maintained the same basic look and feel. Since the Pixel 6 series, Google had largely retained the same overall look for the Pixel through the Pixel 8. It definitely had a classic and distinctive look, but like the iPhone Pro models, it was starting to get a little stale. It was time for a change. The Pixel 9 got a fresh facelift, and honestly, the new look is just so good. I actually prefer the new aesthetic of the camera bar. It feels much more sleek than the old design, which extended into the frame. And with a metal casing for the camera bar instead of plastic, it's much more elegant. It still retains the unique look of the Pixel family, but is more refined. I'm also a fan of the change to flat edges, which seems to have spread across the smartphone market since Apple did it years ago. It makes the phone feel more comfortable and easier to use with swipe gestures on the screen. The matte back glass is also incredibly nice to the touch and is not too slippery. The Pixel 9 Pro is a rare beast, a smaller phone that keeps the same bold design, specs, and camera as Google's biggest and most expensive model. It makes it an instant contender for the best small phone going. At £999, it is cheaper than its larger Pixel 9 Pro XL sibling, but still firmly in the high-end bracket. What sets it apart is the 6.3-inch screen is significantly tighter than the monster 6.7-inch Plus sizes you usually need to get the very best hardware. While not exactly tiny, it is small for a modern high-end phone, joining only a handful in the market such as Samsung's 6.2 in Galaxy S25 and the 6.3 in iPhone 16 Pro. Like its Pro XL sibling, the Pixel 9 Pro brings some display upgrades over the previous generation. If we compare it to the regular Pixel 8, that is. For one, there is the size increase from 6.2 inches to the new 6.3 inches. This comes along with slimmer display bezels, resulting in a screen-to-body ratio of around 87.6%. The resolution has been upgraded as well. The Pixel 9 Pro has 1280 by 2856 pixels to work with, which is definitely more than the resolution of the Pixel 8, but not quite as much as the 1344 by 2992 pixels of the Pixel 9 Pro XL. Still, due to the smaller display diagonal, pixel density on the Pixel 9 Pro works out to an incredibly sharp 495 ppi. Then, there is brightness. Google's new panel now advertises 3000 nits of peak brightness and 2000 nits of whole screen brightness, up from 2000 and 1400 nits respectively in the Pixel 8. Google calls its best displays Super Actua, and the Super stands for LTPO. The Pixel 9 Pro and Pro XL can dynamically vary their refresh rate in the 1Hz to 120Hz range. In contrast, the 9 Non-Pro has an Actua display, minus the Super part, and can only switch between fixed 120Hz and 60Hz values. Performance-wise, the new Tensor G4 chip, 16GB of RAM and starting storage of 128GB all match the 9 Pro XL and perform similarly. On benchmarks, it's nothing special, achieving similar scores to 2023 base Galaxy S23 and only marginally better scores than the Pixel 8 Pro. On the one hand, it's disappointing not to see more of a tangible improvement over the predecessor. On the other hand, it doesn't feel like it's lacking in power in any major way. In everyday use, it feels quick and responsive, with games like Genshin Impact playing with smooth frame rates and AI image generation taking only a few seconds to process each time. Could it have more power? Sure. Would you really notice it? Probably not. The Pixel 9 Pro ships with Android 14 and 7 years of software support, including an upgrade to Android 15 in the autumn, making it one of the longest-lasting phones on the market. The Pixel's battery life is pretty good for a smaller phone. It lasts just over 48 hours between charges, with the screen actively used for about 7 hours on a mix of 5G and Wi-Fi, meaning you have to charge it every other day or so. A full charge takes just over 80 minutes using a 27-watt or greater USB-C charger. The big new additions for the Pixel phones this year are all AI-based, being some of the first handsets to run Google's latest Gemini Nano AI models on device. Similar to the 9 Pro XL, the new Gemini Live experience is undoubtedly the highlight. It provides a new fully conversational mode, allowing you to speak to Google's most advanced Gemini assistant with an open mic and have it respond via voice for a flowing back-and-forth discussion. It is smart enough to remember the topics and progression of your conversation, can provide useful information, and asks its own questions to help move things along. Next, the camera. The camera is the 9 Pro's crown jewel. It supports the full top Google camera system, including a 48-megapixel ultrawide, 50-megapixel main, and a 48-megapixel 5x telephoto camera. The cameras are all-round excellent, capturing detail-rich images across the board. They excel in more difficult scenes, such as dim lighting or motion. The 5x telephoto camera has an in-sensor zoom feature, producing the equivalent of a 10x optical zoom to meaningfully close the distance to objects. The additional digital zoom, up to 30 times, is surprisingly good in bright light too. The new Add Me feature helps photographers join group shots by blending 2 photos taken back-to-back into one image. The photographer takes the first shot, then hands over camera duties to another member of the group for the second shot. An augmented reality overlay shows where to position yourself to get in the shot. It works well in some scenarios, but requires practice to get right and sometimes trips up on certain objects in the scene. Now the conclusion. Is the Pixel 9 Pro Street ill worth buying? The Pixel 9 Pro is one of the very best small phones you can buy. The fabulous 6.3-inch screen may not be truly small, but the Pixel squeezes all the top-end hardware from Google's 6.8-inch superphone into a much smaller and more manageable body. That means you get the full camera system with a 5x optical zoom. You also get long battery life, decent performance, software support for 7 years from release, and all the latest cutting-edge AI features you can shake a stick at. A bundled year's subscription to Gemini Advanced enables the impressive Gemini Live conversational AI assistant too. It isn't a bargain at £999, but that sort of price is unfortunately par for the course for a high-end phone, matching Apple's iPhone 16 Pro. All right, thanks for sticking with me. I genuinely appreciate you spending your valuable time hanging out with me and geeking out over tech. Don't forget to smash that like button if you found this helpful, subscribe for more tech goodness, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads. Also, let me know in the comments what you think of the Pixel 9 Pro.